Okay, before going to the next topic, actually, I wanted to show you one quick thing about the various number systems that you can use in Java. So I'll take one simple example. Let me call this as number systems, something like this. Yeah. So essentially, like Java allows you to show numbers either in by default it is all decimal numbers. But if you wanted to really work with binary or hexadecimal numbers, yeah, or even octal numbers, you can still use it. Yeah. So how to use it? For example, let's go with one simple example. I just want to have one variable a, let's say it is equal to 7. So this is some variable which is by default a decimal number system, right? Now I wanted to display this equivalent binary version of it. Yeah. So then you have simple option. There are few wrapper classes which we will discuss again in the next videos, but there is a wrapper class called integer. So basically int is a primitive data type, right? So that represents integers, right? Integer numbers. Similarly, there is a ready-made class available in Java called integer. Yeah, and this integer basically represents int, but it gives some additional facilities or additional methods. So one such example is, for example, we have something called to binary string. Yeah, so and you can see here, this is integer is a class. It's a ready-made class which is available in java.lang. Hence, we are not importing anything here. It is by default imported. Yeah, and this class gives certain methods to use. So that's why we use integer dot and the methods. Yeah, and all the method name starts with lowercase, and these are camel case. So this method essentially converts basically a number into a binary string. Yeah, and if you hover the cursor on top of this, you will actually see the documentation around it. It says returns a string representation of integer argument as an unsigned integer in base 2. Base 2 is the binary number, right? So let's see. I mean, I'll pass a as the argument, essentially a parameter, which is 7. And I'm expecting this 7, which is in decimal number, to be converted. Not converted, it just prints an equivalent binary string of a. Yeah. Let's run this. And if you are not aware of binary, octal, and hexadecimal, I would suggest to go and then check any simple mathematical stuff on internet, how to convert a decimal number to binary, etc. Yeah, and we'll also write our own program converting a decimal number to binary using loops later. But right now, using a regular function which is available, we can actually have this binary representation of this. So 0, it's essentially same as writing 0, 1, 1, 1, which is a 4-bit representation of 7, yeah, in binary version. So similarly, I can actually have this two string, and actually two string takes number what to print, yeah, which is basically a, but at the same time it also takes the radix. So I can specify the base as 2. Yeah, now this does the same thing. Ideally it should does, okay, I'm missing, yeah, so it does the same thing. Let's see. uh, yeah, so this is essentially trying to print it in the binary number system. So similarly, let's say I wanted to have a hexadecimal representation. Okay, so there also you have basically methods available to binary octal hex string. Yeah, and I'm passing a here. So let's run. Of course, 7 in decimal is also 7 in hexadecimal. So I will not see anything. Let's print 15. Yeah, for example. Yeah, so that become f. Yeah, so 000f. So essentially 15 is now basically 000f in hexadecimal, right? So same way, this is one way of doing it. Yeah, let me also show you the second also, rather than doing this. Let's binary string. Okay, now let me put the other one also here. Instead of binary string, I'll say octal. So this is going to represent the number in octal format. 15, I mean 0 to 8 is the version, so 15 is 17. Yeah, so this is how your numbers, decimal number is converted into other. So similarly, sometimes, and a very rare case, if you wanted to actually take the input or assign the input in, let's say, binary format itself. Yeah, so in that case you have to use 0b as a prefix, and then you can assign the numbers in the binary format 001, which is basically 1. So rather than 001, let's say 011, which is essentially 2 plus 1 3. Yeah, number 3. And if you wanted to just print it, I mean system.out.println b, no conversion. I mean I just want to print it in the regular format. Yeah, so let's see what happens. Your number 3 is printed here. Yeah, so this is also possible. Normally, numbers in binary are at least 8-bit wide. Yeah. So essentially, it's the same thing. Yeah. But normally we represent numbers in either 16-bit or 8-bit wide. So this is how we can represent. So suppose if I wanted to take this, so this is at 4, 8, 8 plus 2, 10, 11. So it should ideally print 11. Yeah, 11. So this is how you can represent in basically binary version. Okay. So similarly, I'll take a number which is represented in hexadecimal. Yeah. So that also you can probably do it this way, for example, but you just need to take it with 0, leading 0. Yeah. And then a decimal number. Yeah. And then you can actually print it as, so start out println basically C. So now we are trying to represent this number as basically a octal number. Yeah. So now suppose, of course, when I print it, it is obviously it's going to print 6, but yeah, so now suppose if I wanted to take 8, yeah, then it start giving me a compilation error because your octal number is 0 to 7, right? So you can't have 0, 8 and it says integer number too large. Yeah, it can't figure out. So your number representation should be well within 0 to 7. Yeah. Similarly, if you wanted to actually have a hexadecimal number represented, yeah. So for that, let me call this as D, and for hexadecimal number, it's going to be 0x. Let's say 1 2 F. Yeah, so that's your hexadecimal number and D. Yeah, and now I'm just trying to print its decimal equivalent. Yeah, 303. Or just to keep it simple, I'll simply say F, which is essentially the hexadecimal number 15, right? So that's what exactly you can actually use the representation. So by default, all the numbers are considered decimal numbers. Yeah, and if you wanted to represent any input number as binary, you have to use 0b. And if you just put a leading 0, then by default it will take octal representation. And if you put it as 0x, it's going to take basically as an hexadecimal number. Yeah, we hardly use these formats. Occasionally we use binary format also, but you should know how to represent the numbers in various numbering system. Yeah, similarly you should also know how to actually convert from one numbering system to other. So anything from decimal to other types, you have ready-made methods available, or you can also use toString method with radix as 2 or radix as 8, etc. Yeah, and similarly, if it is binary, octal, or hexadecimal numbers, you will straight away print it, and then it's going to actually consider by default printing as a decimal number. Yeah, so that's how various number systems you can actually use in Java.